Hi everyone, my name is Carrie Jane. Welcome back to Metanoia. Today's video is a requested video from Sonia. She wants to know, or rather this is what she commented on one of my videos. Think you want to do a series about challenge numbers, especially the 0 challenge. There's so much ambiguity around what it entails, and I feel you might have insights to share with those of us who have that as their challenge number. Now, when I first read this, I was confused as to what you meant about a challenge number, because to me, challenge numbers are those that have a sort of dissonance with one another. So that could be with another person's life path, or that could be the year that you're going through at this time, how that could be a challenge to your numbers, or something to that effect. Like even within your own chart, there are challenges. So that's why I asked you that, Sonia. I wanted to know exactly what you meant by challenge numbers, and then you sent me a link explaining where you got this from. So I checked that out, and I think I'm ready to give my 2 cents on this topic. So, to answer your question right away, I won't be doing a series exactly on those numbers, and this video will explain why. But I will explain my insights on challenge numbers, my idea of challenge numbers, and also my impression of what I was seeing with these so-called challenge numbers from the link that you provided me, if that makes any sense. But before I go off on many different tangents on this subject, let me first start off by saying thank you so much, Sonia, for inquiring about this. It is because of your question that we get to explore another area of numerology in depth and hopefully start some good discussions, or have some good feedback going from other numerologists here, other people who are just enjoying numerology or curious about numerology. So yeah, let's all thank Sonia for asking about this challenge number. So let me just start off with explaining what I saw when I went to your link, and to everyone here, like the challenge number that we're going to be talking about for this portion of the video, so that everyone knows, what's going on. Yeah, so I visited your link, and when I went to your link, I immediately knew what this was. I had seen it before. I remember seeing it before in my early stages of learning numerology and not being impressed by it. I didn't know enough about numerology to really know why I wasn't impressed by it, but I just kept moving on, and I always follow my gut instinct with this stuff, and just developed my own practice over the years to figure out what it is that I wanted to adopt in my own personal practice, and then what patterns that I saw based off of that, validated which ones that I should take on and continue and which ones I should leave behind. But basically what this challenge number is that it's kind of like chapters of your lifetime, or it's supposed to be anyway, where you are going through some sort of period where you have a challenge, very simply. And what this site does is tell you how to calculate what this number would be at what point in your life. And I went through and I did my own, and I think I remember seeing these before, actually, when I did mine a while ago. First thoughts, just right off the bat: subtraction is extremely weird in numerology. Everything is normally done in addition, and this is because when you subtract numbers, you can get to the number 0. And 0, this will be another video. First of all, because it's such an interesting topic, it's such a great question, Sonia, to inquire about the number 0, but also because it'll help explain this topic better. But yeah, the number 0 basically is nothing. It is nothing. That's why you will never find it in a person's chart. That's why everything is addition. That's why you will never have a 0 personal year number. It's why you'll never have a 0 anything. It is an extremely interesting number, because what is nothing? It is often called the God number. It is what I call basically the source number, because I prefer the word source. That's the only reason. It is about infinity. The philosophical implications of the number 0 are mind-boggling, and that's why we're just gonna throw that out there in another video. But yeah, that is a peculiar thing to occur, and that is why subtraction right off the bat is like, I'm like, this is strange. But that's okay. That was my first impression, but I went further into it to see, what these people were using this for, why they were using subtraction, what they had to say about the challenge number. So I continued reading that article, as well as other articles, as well as other blogs that were talking about this number. The second thing that I found when I did more research was that everyone seems to do it a different way. And I've come across this many times in numerology, and as soon as that happens, it's a red flag for me, because it just causes other questions to come up, like, why are all these things different? What is the root to all of this? Like, what is the right way to do this? And I think, in my personal opinion, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but when you see so many people doing things differently, it runs the risk of people just trying to sell you an idea. The life path number, for example, is pretty consistent. Some people call it something else, that's fine, it's just different terminology, but the life path number basically is this universal thing where you add all the digits in your birthday, you get one number, and that's you. That's just like an example of, like, what we're all together on. And then you go deeper and deeper, and I think that within all areas of spirituality, there is this risk that new ideas will come about just from trying to sell people more ideas, or it's new ideas come about, but the origins of this idea have been lost, because it's an ancient practice, and we're not, we're a materialistic human race, and knowledge such within like metaphysics gets lost really easy. So it's like, then we're left with lots of questions, like, how do we find something like a challenge number in a person's life, etc. So these are just some thoughts I'm having. And I also want to say that I'm positive that there are numerologists out there who use this number, and if they have seen patterns within these numbers, if they have seen consistent accuracy, or they would do a reading and they would give this information and it helped that person, that is awesome. That means that you should keep doing that. But I think in my practice, it's actually a bit of a contradiction, just because of the kind of work that I do and what I try to do to help people. And that will be explained in the second half of the video. Right now I just kind of want to keep going off of like my first thoughts on the links that you sent me, and this definition of the challenge number. So all things said and done, based on the first half of this video, I'm very much open to be completely wrong about those first impressions. I'm ready to finally maybe find some material that like has some consistency. I just haven't seen it yet. Have some material that explains this topic in a deeper way, that explains all these questions that I have. But there is one major problem that I have with what I read, and it has to do with my own personal practice, my own experience that I've had these past 10 years working on this stuff. And it is that I don't agree with trying to summarize something as big as 36 years of your life. And that is because in my work, I believe that the future is always changing. I believe that your choices will impact your future majorly. It's like, yes, to some degree, there is some organization here. There are really no real coincidences in life. Everything does happen for a reason. Some of it is planned, but at the same time, I don't believe everything is pre-planned. I think there's a number of things that could happen while you're here. And so that's why I love numerology. I think it has this fluidity to show you, okay, here's your toolbox, and this is what you can do with what you have. So to try to summarize something like 36 years, for example, which was one of the articles we're explaining, just is kind of mind-boggling to me. It's like, really, for 36 years, there's just this one challenge? Not in my opinion, no. The challenges, like I explained right in the beginning of the video, are when you dive into this 9-year cycle and you dissect it year by year, and those choices year by year are going to impact the following year. Yes, you're going to be shoved into an 8 energy, for example, but guess what? That previous year, based on your choices, is going to be what dictates the focus of that 8 year. Is it just going to be about finances? Okay? Or is it going to be about manifesting something much deeper in your life? What have you not dealt with yet? So, and here's the weird thing. This is just a speculation. I wonder if there is something to these challenge numbers, right? And what if they could be deciphered through all these steps that you went through all these small steps, your personal month, and then your personal year, and then this whole 9-year chunk cycle. It was like, God, what happened, and what were my choices, and how did the combination of the two birth me and my life? I wonder if you were to, like, for example, if you had like a 9, challenge in your first 36 years of life, what would happen if you took apart those 36 years? And numerologically, there was this explanation of what was going on. So that's just something I'm curious about. And if that is the case, then why focus on the challenge? Why not focus the challenge of the first 36 years of your life? That seems kind of silly to me. Why not focus on the present moment? What am I dealing with right now, so that number doesn't have to be a challenge in the first place? So that's just how I feel, because of my own practice, and everyone is going to have a different practice, and that's fine. It's actually meant to be that way, because how are we supposed to help everyone here with just one mode of thinking or just one way of doing everything? You can't. So this is what I have to bring to the table on this topic, and I really do believe that if you put a person in this situation where you finally give them this knowledge of what's happening in the now, you can change the future for the next 9 years completely as to what it would be without that information. So basically, it took me a really long time to try to explain that I don't think challenge numbers, in quotes, should be bad, like should be the thing that is bad about us or that we have to deal with. It's in this definition, Sonia, through this link that you gave me, this definition of the word challenge number, it is like, trying to reveal what cross that you have to bear. And it's like, yes, we all have karma, we all have all this stuff that we have to do, but I don't think like focusing on that really makes the change that we want. And in addition to that, another way I don't think challenges are considered bad is that I don't believe that certain life path numbers should never be together. For example, 3 life path and a 4 life path are considered a challenge in numerology. So this, in my opinion, should not mean that they should never be together. All this means is that here is a list of things that may come up that you may have to deal with in order to have a healthy relationship, and in order for the relationship to work, if that makes any sense. I think that a lot of the negative, energies that we find ourselves in come as a result of us being in our, what I always call like shadow selves, which if you've seen any of my numerology videos, I talk about a lot. There's always a shadow to everything, to every vibration. You know, it's like black and white, yin and yang, so on and so forth. There's always a shadow to these elements, to ourselves. And so I think we can manifest a lot of difficult situations in our life when we ignore our true essence and we act out in these ways. So to me, like, that's what's more important to focus on in numerology. For you, Sonia, in particular, because I completely understand if you feel a little bit frustrated in like wanting to understand more about yourself regarding something like a challenge number. For you specifically, for this, and for anyone who's watching who wants to know more about something like that, I recommend astrology. There is something really interesting about astrology. There's something really interesting about our cosmic relationship with the universe, and that's even though we're undergoing free will here, the forecasts in astrology are creepy accurate despite the fact it's really, really interesting. Astrology can tell you all kinds of crazy things that you would never anticipate because there are so many things at play. So I would recommend getting an astrology reading from someone, particularly a forecast, and, you know, inquire about parts of your life. Say, I want to know, you know, these ages, you know, I want to know well into the future, you know, what's going to happen. So when it comes to that in particular, I would recommend astrology. I had so many thoughts on this when I started exploring this number that I'm honestly insecure about whether or not I covered anything. But I did my best, and I would definitely like to also make a video on the number 0. It's just a very interesting topic, so thank you for inquiring about that. There's a little woodpecker above my head, so if you hear a noise, that's what that is. But yeah, hopefully if I do decide to do that, that will be next week that comes out, depending what happens with my schedule. But thank you so much for watching, Sonia. Let me know what you think. Like I said in the response to that comment thread, I was worried that, you know, providing these insights wouldn't be exactly what you're looking for, and if that's the case, I apologize. But I would always rather be honest and have this based on my experience than just like read these articles and, you know, regurgitate it and try to figure out how to give you what you want, because that's not what I'm here to do. So thank you everyone so much for watching. If you have been watching my videos or you have a question about anything, please leave it in one of the comments, and I would love to make a video on something that's you're curious about, as long as it is something I can actually talk about, as long as it is something that is relevant in the realm of metanoia. If you would like a reading with me, please visit the links in the description. I offer a report on my Etsy shop, which is basically like an actual written report, as well as an 1.5-hour consultation through video chat. So if you're interested in that, please go to my Etsy link. If you would like just a smaller community where I talk about the energies of that month and what that means for you individually, please visit my Patreon, because I give monthly readings through there. So yeah, thank you all again so very much. I hope you're having a lovely week, and I will see you all very soon, and take care.